Social Talk podcast. We are here again, and with Mr. Realtor Renzo. He'll be chiming in as we discuss a very heavy subject today. This subject is heavy to the African American community. So, if you're listening, I really want you to tell somebody, have somebody who has a home said, you got to listen to this. But before we get started, I really would like, if you have not heard last season, I would like you to go back to last season Redlining and listen to exactly what was said, and then we'll bring you forward. Then you come back. So if you're in season 3, I would say don't listen to season 3. Go to season 2. Look for Redlining. Listen to that, and then we'll come back. And then you come back and listen to this current one that we're doing, because this is so heavy. I want to be precise. I want to get to the point. I don't want to get any fluff on this particular topic. I want you guys to know exactly. I'll recap a little bit of it, but not enough that you can't go back. We talked about in season 2 how the African American community was being discriminated by appraisers, and so we want to, and that was the gist of the situation. And we're finding out that in this season we'll talk about the fact that they are not giving us as African American the actual appraisal value that is deserved. And so what it does, it actually, as we move our property on to the next generation, it decreases the wealth of the African American community and other minority, not only African American, but other minority community. And so we want to talk about that. So this is a very heavy topic. So we'll kind of dive into it a little bit and just take a minute to kind of, we'll call this an update of Redlining from season 2 and season 3. This was a poignant piece of material that I came, that as managing brokers, we get all the update of what's going on in the industry. And so the Illinois Association of Realtors has put a piece out to us as the broker, which I want to share with you a little bit and share some of the things that they found and are talking about. And I talked about this last year. There's an article that was sent to us this year about how the appraisers are really not giving minority community the actual value of their homes. So it starts out, and I'm actually going to read from the piece that I got. So it was a case study, or you can call it a case study, and it says, this is from our board. A recent client of Erica Villegas lost $35,000 in equity when selling his home near Midway Airport because she believes the appraiser discriminated because of his race and the neighborhood he lives in. Now, I think last year I talked about the fact that I had gotten, personally, discriminated against. Not that I needed the value, I was just doing a refi, so the value was not important. Even though I fought with the appraiser to get a current value, he did not do anything. I talked last year about 2 of my clients who I had to go to bat for because I knew that the value was terrible. I knew that they were being discriminated. I called the appraiser, I fought, and I still didn't get the value that I deserved. And that was my personal story. And it was like 3 clients that I actually went to bat for with other appraisers. So saying that, I'm looking at this piece, and it brings back, of course, everything that I just talked about last year. And this lady, let me tell you what it says. We all make mistakes, and sometimes they're in a rush. Say Viega, designated managing broker at Remax in the village of Oak Park. So this broker, maybe, I'm not sure if she's making an excuse, but she's just saying we all make mistakes. Now, the home listed at 310, but her client dropped the price to 290 to sell it faster, so he could buy his dream home. However, the home only appraised for 255 with comparables, home very similar, selling for 290. It comes back to what I did last year when I went to the appraiser and I said, look, now this property I had that one of my clients was refining was actually on the south side of the city. One of the properties I worked on was in North Chicago, both in African American community. Now, with the appraiser, I actually sent out comps saying, listen, you are wrong. You're not supposed to do this. My client never got the value of the home. She did not continue with her refi. So what I'm saying is so important that as brokers, we have to go to bat for our clients. Now, this is not anything new to me, but it's just poignant that it came out in an article today by our board, and I know Renzo probably have not run into that as yet. Not yet, but
I've heard of it. You see, I mean, like thank God for my history teacher being so kind of like, I don't know, more progressive and more, I don't know, socially conscious about these things. But even though it was only a small paragraph in our history book about redlining, he spent the whole day talking to us about redlining. And I remember that. Shout out to Mr. Lev.
Mr. Lev from what school?
Sen High School.
Sen High School.
Yeah.
There you go.
I remember this.
Thanks, Mr. Lev.
I remember he talked about redlining and how, if you notice that Chicago just being it, I mean, Little India's over there. Most of the black people are in the south side. All the Jewish people are here in Rogers Park. And, there's just pockets. And whether that's just people migrating to places that are familiar. Of course, people want to be with their own kind. But you can't deny that realtors, appraisers, and the government had something to do with that. And they restricted the movement of certain minorities from going into white communities, and you know what I mean? And they kind of made these borders and redlined the map.
Imaginary borders,
and says, hey, we're gonna say this one, the values here is low, values here is high, you can't afford it, you're black, you're this, you can't, because of that, you can't go to certain areas.
Oh, we gotta be careful. No, I want to continue because I want to say kudos to the broker fighting for these people. I want to say kudos to her in that she did exactly what I did. And the article continues to say she tried to fight by writing letters of dispute and sent comparables. Kudos to the broker at Remax in the village of Oak Park, because she did what she needed to do, even though she did not get the response, and to be honest, I did not get the response either that I needed. So we both got put in the same situation. We both were fighting for our clients. And I said kudos to her because of the fact that she didn't look and say, well, I am serving a black individual or a minority, and so, okay, if it's 255, it's 255. No, she said, listen, this is not right, and that's what good brokers do. Good brokers go to bat.
Right.
Good brokers not going to say, hey, the appraiser said 255, so
right.
What are we going to do?
I mean, if no one's going to stand up for it, right, then who is? I mean, like we as leaders of the community, I mean, we're realtors, we're the experts and the leaders of this industry. We're the kind of the soldiers of this and the workers of this industry. We kind of make it run, and if we're not fighting for equality in however we can, we're in a position of power to change things. And
exactly,
we are. And if we're not, I don't know, if we're not protecting that kind of moral code, if we're not defending, our clients in the best way possible, then it's a disservice.
People come to us. as
Right.
professionals. Uh, People come to us to say, we need your help.
Right.
Because, and that's why, you know, the board is all up on us all the time to, you know, that's why we take ethics. We
Mhm.
just finished our ethics class to say, hey, we have the ability,
Mhm.
or we are in the position that we need to protect the public. That's simple as that.
Mhm.
Now, the piece that we were listening today by, I think it's ABC News or whoever the
Yeah, it
news
was an ABC
organization,
7.
saying that there's 78% of the appraisers are of Caucasian, and whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing, I mean, I'm not gonna blast that
Right,
because I'm sure there's really good people out there just doing their job, but we as brokers, we as inspectors,
Mhm.
appraisers, mortgage brokers, we that are in the industry of getting people their home and to get your home, I mean, there's many other facets of people, but we as a people has a fiduciary responsibility to the public,
Mhm.
and we can't just go around and saying it is what it is.
Mhm.
We need to fight that issue all the time, and so if and that's why it comes back to servicing people.
Mhm.
That if you know we have the education to say is wrong,
Right.
right? We didn't just
And I will say that, like, you know, with that statistic of predominantly all Chicago appraisers are predominantly white, 1% of them are Asian, I think like 10% are black, and 4% are Latino, Hispanic. Some people don't know that they're being biased. Some people don't know that they're being ignorant. And so we kind of, and the worst thing is that person who's getting undervalued, the owner who's getting undervalued, sometimes they don't know.
they don't know. They literally don't know.
But us as experts or supposed experts and people who are trying to safeguard this community, we can't just let it happen, right?
See, but they don't know if they're not being if they're not being represented properly, they would never know.
Mm-hmm.
If they're being represented by a broker who understands the process and who can say, wait a minute, hold on, this is not right. You know, what I'm saying, their wealth falls,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because they got a $300,000 property. Oh no, it's not 300,000. It's only worth 270.
Mm-hmm.
You lost $30,000, or it could be $40,000 or $50,000
Right.
if you don't know, and if you don't have someone to come in and say, wait a minute, hold on, we're not going to do this.
Right.
Okay, so the case of what was happening to me, well, not to me personally, but to my client in the northern suburb, black community. When I first look at his home, initially, I said, I did the analysis. I see you at 169. I mean, evidently he trusts me because I've been doing this for so long.
And you did the proper comp. You did that. You know what I mean?
I did everything right. I told him it's 169, and this is the story. The first appraiser came in at 138.
Mm.
I said, that's ridiculous.
It's robbery.
I was only helping him refi his property, and I told him, I will get back to you. I told him, when you get the appraisal, it should come in about 165. I said, you're 165, no problem. He spent the money, it came in at 138. I said, you kidding?
Mm.
This doesn't make sense.
Right.
And this is just one of the reasons why I talked about Redlining last year and where it came from. And so, of course, I said, listen, I understand, but the appraiser don't want to change it. So guess what we'll do? We're just not gonna go through with the refi.
Mm-hmm.
And he already spent the money.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay, no problem. I said, wait a little bit. Wait a couple of months. He came back. It came back to another bank. 149.
A little better.
A little better, but still not correct.
Right. Yeah.
So I said, that doesn't make sense. So I went back, looked at his comp, and I said, you got to be a 160. I mean, it's a no-brainer here.
Mm-hmm.
He waited a couple of more months, got what he wanted with somebody at 169.
Mm-hmm.
I said, now you're getting the right value. Now, if he did not have me, look at the amount of wealth he would have lost.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
Look at what he would have lost because he would have said, okay, whatever you say.
Right.
And that would have been it.
And I think the statistic, and I think it's in the article you're reading, it was that African Americans on average get devalued at an average of $48,000.
Absolutely.
On average.
On average.
On African American families with real estate, they're on average devalued under $48,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. That's a whole person's year salary. Imagine the hours. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's crazy.
Like I said, this is it's something that I think we as brokers got to fight.
Right, and I think it's about that. We all talk about generational wealth.
Generational
and
wealth.
We're talking about generational power. It's so wrong that a more privileged and white family can pass on more money because an appraiser says your house is worth more.
Because you're in a different neighborhood.
But
or sometimes in the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
Sometimes in the same neighborhood.
But if you're a minority, and then let's say you get unlucky and you get devalued $48,000, that's less money that you can give to your kid, and that's even less money for your kid to pass on to his kid, and this is what we talk about systemic
racism.
It's just harder, and again, I hate to knock appraisers because probably on an individual basis they're
and it's not all appraisers.
Yeah.
It's not all appraisers.
Right.
So I just like it's not all appraisers. I want to say that.
But the numbers don't lie.
The numbers don't lie. But I'm sure there's because the appraiser we got, the third appraisal for the bank gave the correct value.
Yeah, but why do you got to take 3 times? You got to take 3 times.
You know
Over the span of like a year.
Yeah, like a year. But my guy wanted to refi, and I just told him it's not. But the thing is, now, I want for those who are listening. If you're going to go into, we got to fight this together.
Right.
But for those who are, if you're listening, I really want you to share. I want you to like. I want you to let folks listen to this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to refi your property, if you're going to sell your property, find a broker that knows your neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Find someone that can say, "Listen, you're not right. Don't get jilted over $35,000 to $40,000 because of the fact that you said, well, now I'm gonna do this on my own." Don't do that, because when you do that, you lose so much more money doing that than not paying someone to help you. Mm-hmm. For example, and just a quick example, I had a condo I was selling. I listed it small at $119,000.
Okay.
I sold it for $119,000. An owner called me and said he just sold his property by owner for $99,000. And then he says, "Have you sold it?" Yeah, I sold $119,000. Oh my gosh, I got $99,000. I said, same condo. I said, did you use a broker? No, I sold it myself. Same thing with the appraiser. Get a break. I mean, that other owner paid me, plus put more money in his pocket than the guy who went do himself. Mm-hmm. So because we are the professionals in this business, always seek out a professional advice when you come to your appraiser, seek out a broker to help you. Mm-hmm. Don't do that. Only we can fix this as a minority community, and is if we seek out our own professionals to help us. Don't do this on your own, because if you do this on your own, you're losing so much more money.
Right.
Or you tend to lose so much money.
And I think the internet has really done this. I mean, everyone's an expert now, right?
That's true.
Everyone's got Google. Everyone's an expert now. And yes, we don't want to deter you from doing your own research.
No.
Of course, Redfin, Apartments, Realtor, whatever, all these websites, they have all these tools, online tools to help you do comps, but we are licensed professionals, and we have the tools to actually access what is available. Because you can't trust you can't trust this like website to just kind of private website to just do some random calculation about whatever, right? You come to our office, we'll show you what we're doing, we'll show you exactly how we're running the numbers. And again, we don't want to deter you from doing your own research, but we are the experts. We will do this for you.
You know, I want to I want to read something from the articles that were sent out to us. And this is, and I really give kudos to our board, who is really trying to be on top of this. So this is really, really cool. And so there's a quick article that says trying to fix this, right? The Illinois Realtors formed a disciplinary appraisal task force to look into topics and whether a person, race, has any impact on appraisal and value. The organization also commissioned a study from a professor affiliated with the University of Chicago to look at data on the topic. The study, released in October, definitively revealed that race does play a part. Wow. Is that amazing?
Yeah, right?
Is that amazing?
Yeah,
now, I understand that they may not know, or the board may not know, and they got to form a task force to do that. But we as minority, we don't have to form a task force. We know.
Right.
We lived it. We're in it. We know what's going on. So this is so amazing that, and as I read this, I'm like, wow, they have to form a task force for that. But it's okay. I'm not mad at them. I am glad that they do it. Kudos to the board for doing that.
You need some sort of precedent and some sort of like documentation that says, hey, the leaders, the board is the leader, right? They are the representing body, and when you have the representing body, at least doing some action towards, it's not like they're just ignoring it, you know what I mean? At least that they did.
No, I am. Listen, when I read the article, I'm like, wow. I mean, it was a beautiful thing to know that they're seeking out other people, or they're seeking out, professors to say, hey, let's get this study, right? I love that.
And I do believe that the head of that task force is an African American man.
I don't know he's professor from the University of Chicago.
The guy that's heading the task force,
Okay.
I think he is a black man.
Right.
So which is amazing.
And before we wrap up, I want to read another article. So, but it's a matter of, or another script from the article. Now, there's an opportunity here for, if you are an African American, Hispanic, Latino, Asian, whatever, you can do something about it. If you're listening, you can do something about it. You can do something about this by you getting involved in the appraisal. There is an opportunity right now for appraiser to be, for if you're listening and you want to become an appraiser, to be involved, go to school, get your license, and try to fix this problem. And I'm seeking now that I'm
be the change you want to be. Be the change you want to be, right? If you want to change appraisals, be the appraiser and then change it, right?
Be the change you want to be.
Yeah, man.
That's what
I think Barack Obama.
That's what Barack said.
I think Barack Obama said that.
Yeah, he's the one that said that. Man. That's good because this is just something that I'm really passionate about this, and that's why we're talking about this, and I'm kind of updating because I'm passionate about the fact that we got to represent our people properly. Yeah. We as minority, we're got to represent, and you got to come to the table knowing what you know, and said, hey, this is not right. But I'm gonna read this article again. This quick snip from. So there's an opportunity here for us to make the change, right? As Renzo just said, be the change that you want to be.
Yeah.
So I want to read an article. A snippet from the article, and so it goes. The heading says, pushing ahead to new diverse appraiser. In 2020, the Appraiser Diverse Initiative, it's called ADI, was launched by the Appraisal Institute headquarters in Chicago. Fannie Mae and the National Urban League, Freddie Mac, joined as a core partner in 2021. And just so you know who that is, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they are secondary lenders. So in case you don't know who they are, they're you got Fannie Mae, Ginnie Mae, Freddie Mac, they were all secondary
It's
lenders
just part of the lending institution of America.
of America. Yeah, that's a better way to say that.
Yeah.
All right, so the initiative helps recruit more appraisers of color and women. The Institute educates, and Relief Foundation offers the Minority and Women Course Scholarship Program. The Institute also develops a 5-hour course focuses on addressing unconscious bias in appraisal. Now, now, this is what they looked at. You talked about sometimes people don't know
No, yeah.
that they're, and that's a true thing.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know that they're being biased.
Right.
And that's one of the things that, and this article, like I said, it's really gonna help me to, not help me, I know what it is that they're talking about, but I'm glad that they're looking at it,
But yeah,
because some people don't know.
Yeah, if we can train people to say, hey, is this, if this thing that I'm thinking about, is this the right way to, if we can make people like second guess, you know,
Yeah.
and kind of think about more about what they're doing and the impacts of what they're doing, then I think that's really great, you know.
No, and you have to, because I have to go back to what you said. Some people don't know that they're being biased.
Mm-hmm.
It could be their upbringing,
Mm-hmm.
it could be, you know, what they learn
Right.
from kids,
Right.
and they don't know, and so they think it's normal.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you hear someone get a racial joke and you're like, you don't know that that's offends someone else,
Yeah.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, what happened?
Right.
Really? So, and I'm sure it's not. I mean, we're talking about real estate and appraiser and that kind of stuff, but this could happen in
Any situation.
any situation, right? So, all you know, as we wrap up what we're talking about, redlining is a
It's a vicious thing.
oh man, you took words out of my mouth. I was
Yeah,
gonna say
yeah.
vicious, because it's not something that we want to keep doing. It's not something that should be done. It's not something that sometimes some people are aware of, but then again, it goes back decades,
Mm-hmm.
right? It goes back generations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so people have grown up, and so for the board to now address this situation, I feel proud. I feel proud of the agent in Oak Park who went to battle,
Mm-hmm.
and she's a Caucasian agent. As I look at her photo, I feel proud of her that she went to battle for her client,
Mhm.
who's an African American client. Which
Mhm.
you know, we got the photos of the client, and so, and as we move, and for the, I want to say something for you guys who are listening, becoming an appraiser, you know, it's not a hard thing. It's not a, like any other college program. But if you want to be the change, and you like this industry, then I'm going to say, welcome
Yeah. Go
to the
for it.
industry.
Go for it.
Especially as a minority, welcome to the industry, because only if we get involved will we then be able to make the change that should happen,
Right.
and not short our culture or the minority culture the wealth that's deserving to them,
Mhm.
because of the fact that their appraisal, because of course most of us will pass on our wealth or home
Mhm.
or businesses to our kids, but when it comes to the home, we're not being short to say, well, hey, you know what, mom and dad have a $500,000 home, but they only got appraised for $400,000.
Mm.
It's $100,000 of wealth that's going down the drain.
Right.
So we want to say welcome. I mean, as the article continues, as we're running out of time, I can see someone that actually got their stuff.
But
African
yeah, I mean,
American,
But I just want to add, like, I mean, if us realtors, we know other realtors,
Mhm.
and appraisers, they know other appraisers, right? And if appraisers are only in that kind of bubble and they're only thinking one way, unconsciously, then you can be, and we all can be as minorities, if we all just start becoming more interested in the appraisal process, then we can shock the system.
We can.
And we can be like, hey, the way we've been running this for a certain amount of time, no, we're not doing this anymore. As a group now, we need more representatives of the minority
Absolutely.
in this field. And Yeah, it's definitely
Just,
it's a great way to make money too. I mean,
Absolutely.
it's a great field of work. Honestly, people will always be selling houses. People will always be need refinancing. So this is potentially, I mean, for people like me, like early 20s, like I mean, this is a possible career for somebody.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I mean, people are always buying and selling houses. People are always refinancing, and they need somebody to appraise their house. So what a great opportunity for anybody who's just looking for a career, honestly.
And I want to say, do your as we wrap up this section, I want to say, do your due diligence. If you're going to refi your home, if you're going to sell your home, if you don't have the ability to do the due diligence on your home, hire someone to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Hire someone to come in and says, even if you, and a lot of us folks don't really hire people when we're doing appraisal. Come to the table and bring an appraiser, bring the appraiser from comps, and say, sir, here's my comps. Here's the comps for this home is worth $200,000 or $300,000 or $1 million. But don't let the appraiser just come to the table and says, this is what it's worth. Walk in and says, here, so that the appraiser knows that you are aware of the value.
Mm-hmm.
You are aware of what's going on.
You're not someone to be messed with.
Right. You are aware that this home, here it is. Yeah. So guys, I really I thank you for listening to this podcast, the Mill Social Talk podcast. I thank Renzo for chiming in. I really appreciate Renzo for coming in and continue to talk with us. But do due diligence on your home, because this is generational wealth that we're talking about. Mm-hmm. Generational wealth, okay? So guys, thanks again. Please share. Please share this with your friends and family. It's so important. Please like it. Please do. Please listen to the Mill Social Talk podcast at all times. This season we'll have great topics for you, okay? Thank you guys. And again, Leroy at Mills Realty. Again, the Mills Social Talk podcast. Next time, see you then.